Hey you spooncrafters and bush carvers out there, this is Max from Woodsman's Finest. You might know me from productions like Honey, Where Are My Thumbs or Cuts and Superglue for Dummies. Today I would like to do a course, my first one on this platform here actually, that is really dear to me. I'm talking about knives, knife safety, knife basics and knife etiquette. I think that the knife is possibly the most versatile and fascinating tool mankind has ever seen. I mean, understanding the basic principles of knife use, the safety around it, the conscious effort to keep yourself out of harm's way, there's so many things you can do with it. Knives have been fascinating for me ever since I was a really small boy. I think I got my first pocket knife when I was 6 years old, and I'm still carrying one around every single day of my life just because it's such a wonderful and versatile tool. I was very fortunate over the years to make using blades, my fascination for blades, into my way of living. I've been doing spoon carving as a teacher and as a job for 10 years now. I'm a knife maker. I'm gonna be using one of my knives today for the course. I've been a wilderness canoeist in northern Canada. Right now we're actually in Austria, in Upper Austria here where I'm from. But I've been fortunate for the last 5 years to travel back and forth to Canada and spend about a third of my life there actually. Mostly with outfitters up north, canoeing, crafting, but also doing a lot of solo backcountry canoeing, which is also something I would like to talk about today, because we're also talking about safety, not only in a low exposure, low consequence environment, but of course also in a high consequence and long exposure environment. But I'm gonna get to that. And for the last 11 years I've been traveling back and forth to Japan, and I lived there for a long time, and I'm a head instructor in Europe for a Japanese type of swordsmanship. So I got in touch, and I very intricately with about 70 centimeter long razor sharp blades that I'm swinging around and I need to resheath, etc, etc. And this also taught me a lot. So you see, I'm living around blades, with blades, and working with blades every day of my life, and I'm pretty safe to say that I have had a bazillion close calls. Today I would like to as well just let you benefit from the mistakes that I made over the years, and just keep the risk at bay for you. One thing I want to say right off the bat is working with knives is a risk, and as one of my friends in Northern Ontario always tells me when it comes to canoe tripping and things we're doing on canoe trips, etc, etc, is we're putting ourselves voluntarily into some kind of risk. We do that all day long, but especially with a very sharp knife, which is taking it up a notch. So when we're working with knives, it is all about risk management. We are putting ourselves in risk for a greater reward and benefit, but we have to think about how to manage this risk and how to deal with it in a smart way. One very important thing I want to talk about in this course is a couple of bridges and a few terms when it comes to knives that are very easy to remember. Bridges very often bring me back on the right course, and it has proven to be very useful when it comes to teaching young people, kids. I personally think that kids from a very young age can actually start using knives under the right supervision and with a really conscious effort on control and the right set of rules or bridges to keep themselves out of harm's way. And knife use can be very safe. It is not something where you necessarily have to get hurt, but it's also very unforgiving. So if you're making mistakes, the knife usually is gonna let you eat it. So that's why it's so important to have these bridges and a very good knife etiquette working with them.